Let's go first to Libya. You have called for some kind of intervention, a no-fly zone. Do you still maintain that position to have a no-fly zone over Libya?
Yes, I do. Senator Kerry and Senator Lieberman and I and others have called for that. I would like to point out their air assets are not large. Their air defenses are somewhat antiquated, and this would send a signal to Gadhafi that the president is serious when he says we need for Gadhafi to go, and also it would be encouraging to the resistance who are certainly outgunned from the air. But these air assets that that Gadhafi has are not overwhelming. They're not, you know, I'm not saying they aren't a challenge.
So how do you respond then to what Secretary Gates said? We're going to play what he said about this idea of a no-fly zone.
There's a lot of, frankly, loose talk about some of these military options, and let's just call a spade a spade. A no-fly zone begins with an attack on Libya to destroy the air defenses. That's the way you do a no-fly zone.
Do you think that it is, as he says, too difficult, that it's loose talk when it comes to talk about a no-fly zone?
I have great respect for Secretary Gates and the outstanding job that he has done. We can't risk allowing Gadhafi to massacre people from the air, both by helicopter and fixed wing.
What he's really doing is attacking military installations, ammunition depots, and potentially a rebel army. If the U.S. does get involved, is that taking sides?
Well, clearly we are on the side of the rebels. We have called for Gadhafi's removal. That's the President of the United States policy. But again, I want to emphasize, ground intervention would not be appropriate, certainly not at this time. A ground intervention by the part of the United States could be very counterproductive. But we can assist in a lot of ways, from humanitarian, intelligence, providing them with some training and other things that we could do as they form up a provisional government in Benghazi.
You mentioned what the president said, calling for Colonel Gadhafi to step aside. I mean, when the president says he's got to go, presumably he has to go.
Yes.
How does that happen? How does one get him to go?
Well, first of all, I hope that Gadhafi understands the inevitability of,
but he hasn't shown
I agree with
much
you.
indication to us.
He's insane. But perhaps the people around him would begin to depart the sinking ship. And by, again, a no-fly zone, declaring our assistance or support of a provisional government, perhaps, which is being formed up now. There's a lot of steps we can take, providing the significant humanitarian aid. Look at this humanitarian crisis is huge on both borders. So I think there's a lot we could do, including intelligence capability and giving them technical assistance.